So we're 8 days away from the start of the Texas Longhorns 2019 football season, and I've got some thoughts on the opener. Texas right now, as of Friday morning, uh, 8 days before kickoff, is a 20.5 point favorite over Louisiana Tech. Now, Tom Herman has a pretty good track record of covering the spread and things like that, and this is the first game of the season. This is in Maryland that we're playing. So I don't think there's any real concern with an upset. Um, and I think Texas covers, to be honest with you. And I know that's, generally not the most important thing. Getting a win and not looking terrible while you're doing it is very important, especially with LSU in week two. Um, I think we're going to be pretty vanilla on both offense and defense. We don't want to put a whole lot of stuff on tape this early in the season, especially right before LSU. We want to keep them on their toes. I know that sounds like we're overlooking Louisiana Tech, who's generally a pretty good, smaller school, puts up pretty good offensive numbers and things like that. But, you know, no disrespect to them, but they're not a big boy. And, there's a reason why they're scheduled against, big schools to start the season, so they can beat the crap out of them and get their confidence up. Something that does concern me is the injuries that Texas has right now. We're holding some people out that got hurt in the first scrimmage or sometime during camp. I'm not sure if we're going to see them or not. UT says that they're going to be available for week one. And even if they are, I'm not sure it's really necessary to play them, at least not for very long if we do play them at all. I don't need to see Caden Stearns out there flying around and knocking people's heads off, as entertaining as that sounds, if he's not 100% ready to go. Same thing with Keontae Ingram. He dealt with some stingers and stuff like that last season. And a bone bruise on your knee is no small feat to overcome. Those are pretty painful, and they make it really hard to change direction and things like that. And as a running back, that's something that is very, very important that you're able to do. Plant your foot, push off, and go. Make cuts. It affects your power as well. So I guess that would mean more carries for Jordan Whittington, and I'm all about that. Let's see what the kid could do. There's a reason why he's as heralded and a 5-star recruit. Everybody wanted him. I'm very happy that he chose Texas. I want to see Sam put up some good numbers. Hopefully not force anything. I'm really excited to see some Jake Smith in the slot. And obviously Colin Johnson, big 6'6" guy. I've got a thing for big receivers. I just love them. I can date that all the way back to, Roy Williams for me. Big, fast, strong receivers. Colin's not the fastest guy, but he's really tall, and that comes in handy. So some high point catches would be good. He's super physical too, which is a far cry from where he was just a few years ago when he wasn't the most eager blocker downfield. But that has changed tremendously since even last year. At the beginning, he wasn't the most anxious guy, but now, as this last season progressed, he really liked putting people into the dirt, and that is awesome to see. So I've got Texas winning this. I want to say, 38 to 10-ish, thereabouts. Louisiana Tech will either get a touchdown really early, and it'll be pretty deflating to everybody, like, what's going on here? Or it's going to be really late in the game against, the number 2 or number 3 defense. So garbage time score. I'd like to see some Casey Thompson as well. This would be a prime opportunity. He may not have a whole lot of those this year to come in and play, barring an injury to Sam or, just close games down the stretch, which I hope we don't have. I hope we're on the winning end of that, but, it's really hard to predict that accurately. So that's my my thoughts on Louisiana Tech. I'm also anxious to see Parker Braun, and if he has put anything together pass blocking wise, because coming from Georgia Tech, and they've passed the ball like 30 times in his 3 years there, which is not very many times. So he doesn't know anything about pass blocking for the most part. And Herb Hand's been, helping him a lot in camp with that. And I just read an interview yesterday that said, or that Herb Hand said he is one of his top 6 linemen, and that's great. And the possibility of redshirting is still out there. If he starts game 1 or whatever, and really struggles in pass blocking, it's great that there's that new rule where you can play 4 games and not lose your year of eligibility. So, like, I love that rule. It gives everybody a chance to see players that, may not be quite ready for prime time, but get them some game experience and acclimated to the speed of the college game. Anyway, I think 38-10 is about where we're at here. Like, I'm in Vegas right now. I tried to see if I could put a bet on the LSU game yesterday. I walked through the MGM sports book, and it wasn't up there, and I've never bet on sports before, so I don't know exactly what to do, but I guess I can find out. All right, that's all I've got. 38-10.